What up? I'm back, and I do believe that I've got the streaming problems all fixed. So hopefully, what's up? Can you hear me now? There shouldn't be any lag. We shouldn't have any issues. We shouldn't have any timing out, no buffering. Shouldn't have any more problems. So if you're in here, give me a shout. Let me know. Let me know you're in here. Talk to me, people. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I've literally spent the past 2 hours trying to figure out why my live stream was lagging, why the audio wasn't working with the video, why it was cutting in and out, why it was jumping, why it was buffering. I kept losing internet connection, couldn't figure out why. So I've literally spent the past 2 hours chasing down all of these problems, trying to figure it all out. I think I got to figure it out. So if you're in here and you're watching, type something in there in the chat and let me know. Let me know you can hear me. Let me know that you're not your video's not lagging. Your video's not jumping. Um, just give me a shout. Just type something. Let me know. You know that the video and the audio is coming through good for you. Hey, 3 viewers that are viewing. Hey, 4 viewers viewing. It's 1 o'clock in the morning here, anyway. 1 o'clock in the morning. You guys are up. What are you doing? Just searching YouTube. A board level repair on the computer you're watching on. Man, I used to get into that, get into all the technical stuff, um, with motherboards and all that good stuff. And it's a pain, man. I've never even. And that was back in the day. That was back in the day when towers were a thing, the big thing, and I couldn't imagine. I've never worked on a laptop. The interior, the internals of a laptop. I never. I don't think I could, man. It's too much. So you can hear me. Let me ask you this: Fallout Pictures. Were you on my earlier live stream that I was having all kinds of problems with? I was having all kinds of problems, man. I had my internet kept going out, and I was losing service to YouTube. Um, I was having all kinds of problems. So I figured out apparently because I was streaming directly through YouTube earlier. I was streaming directly through YouTube earlier because I've never done a live stream from my personal computer from my home, so I was just streaming through YouTube directly, and apparently that's a big no no, um, because you can't adjust settings, audio settings, and video settings, and all that. So um, I learned that I had to go through OBS. I had to download an encoder. Here, I can show you the screen here. I had to download this encoder software. It's basically like a third party broadcasting software. And so I downloaded this encoding software, and it took me 2 hours to figure out the settings, like the bit rate, kilobytes per second, and you have to get all of this stuff like perfect in order for it to work. And it streams directly, like this connects to YouTube, streams directly to YouTube. It's a oh man, took me 2 hours to figure all this stuff out. Crazy stuff. Technology, man. Technology is crazy. But I think we've got it. I think we've got it down. I'm not having any problems. I'm not having any issues. At least on my end, I'm not. So I think we've got it. I think we've got it fixed. Unless it could have been your computer. Your computer was screwing up my live stream because of that power connector. But I think we're good. Yeah, they've got options. I noticed that they've got options you can stream on Twitch and all kinds of stuff. I thought that was kind of neat. Of course, YouTube's the only thing I'm going to be using it for, but I do like how you can go in and it's got all of the little intricate settings that you can change, which is kind of nice. You pretty much have full control of the live stream and the quality and how much CPU power, how much power it uses. So it's kind of nice that the using a third party software like this, you can actually control all of that. Because like I said, with YouTube, I think that was my problem. Because with YouTube, it just uses like basic, I guess, standard settings, and I don't think my computer was enough to hack it. Was enough to pull it off. So I think that's the benefit of using a third party software like this, where you can actually um, make the necessary adjustments. I don't know how any of it works, man. I can't tell you how many YouTube videos I just had to watch on OBS and change what settings to change, what to change them to, how to figure out what my kilobytes per second is on upload and download, and crazy, crazy stuff. Fallout Pictures. What is that? Is that you do videos? You do what do you do? Fallout Pictures. audio engineer. I considered going to what is that school? Full Sail University in Florida. I want to say it's in Winter Park, just outside Orlando. Hey, Smitty. Yeah, I got shut down, man. I was having a bunch of problems. I was having a bunch of problems with the live stream. I was just doing it directly through YouTube, and this being my first live stream, it was just messing me up. So I had to go through and figure out third party softwares and all that stuff. So, oh, you went to Full Sail Fallout. That's awesome, man. Yeah, whoever paid the most, I hear you there. Yeah, I thought about going. I thought about going there. I wanted to go there. To be honest with you, I really did. I wanted to go there. Um, it just didn't work out for me that way. My life had a different plan for me, so just didn't work out. I got 5 people on here. Who else I got? Smitty, Fallout Pictures. Who else I got? Who else is watching? So what brought you guys to my channel, Smitty and Fallout Pictures? What brought you guys to my channel? The hot dogging or the laundromat? Or the Danny D'Angelo or the um, off-grid stuff that I did many years back? Chock full of quarters. There they are. How's it going, guys? Yeah, Smitty, the bars shut down on me again. The state shut the bars down again here until August 12th, and then they're going to reevaluate the whole situation with this virus stuff. So they're going to decide if they're going to extend the shutdown or if they're going to try to open up again. But yeah, it's a mess, man. They shut the bars down again, which is why I haven't had any videos. Haven't been able to stream from the hot dog cart. So they shut the bars down again, and then it's like I said, as soon as they open up, man, I'll be back out there. I was considering possibly um, seeing if maybe I could find another location, but it wouldn't be much of um, much entertainment since obviously the entertainment comes from drunk people for my channel. So sold the laundromat or gonna keep it. No, I've still got it. I haven't decided if I'm gonna sell it or not. I mean, it's profitable. I'm making money. I only have to go. I only spend maybe 5 hours a week working there. Um, so it's not time consuming at all. And for the profit, for the money that comes in, I just can't. I don't know. I just can't like. I can't decide if I want to keep it or sell it. So I'm just going with the flow. Going with the flow. My air conditioner went out a couple weeks ago, and I lost a lot of money. A lot of people stopped coming in because of it. It was, I mean, there were days where I would go in and there was 90 plus degrees, almost 100 degrees inside that laundromat. So I can't blame people for not coming in, but that hurt. That hurt quite a bit. Um, but yeah, we got the air conditioner fixed last week, I think it was, and it turned. People started coming back. We're getting the money coming back, and like I said, it's always been profitable. I've never lost money on it. I've never had to come out of pocket to pay for any of the bills, even when during the time of having no air conditioning. Um, it was still making enough money to pay the bills, even though it took a hit financially. It was still making enough money to pay the bills. So I've never had to come out of pocket to pay any of the bills or anything. So I mean, I can't really complain. Um, but the laundromat's doing good. Laundromat's doing good. It's still up and going. I've still got it. Still making money. Chock full of quarters. Have you guys still talking to Danny D'Angelo or Danny? Are you still talking to him at all? Are you working on your next one? Are you going to try to use his way to get your next one? Um, Vaughn, different venue. So I could try a different venue. So here's the thing: the the bars, the bars for so my specific. If you haven't watched the video about turning $200 into $1,000 or whatever, if you haven't watched my video on that, definitely go back and watch. It goes into the history of how I ended up with the spot that I'm at, in front of the wild beaver. But long story short, I've been going to that bar for many years, basically since I was old enough to drink, and so I know the people there. It's like a big family. Me hot dog in there is like, I mean, it's like me hot dogging a family reunion every weekend. It's fun. I know the people. I can mess with them. That's kind of where, my bantering comes out in dealing with these people because I know the people there, um, and so that's kind of part of the dynamic of I guess how I operate there or why I operate there. Um, I could try a different venue. Well, all the bars are closed, so if I do, it won't be a bar. Obviously, I could try a bar slash restaurant because they're not being forced to close. If you serve food, you don't have to close. Talk to our governor about that one. I don't know, but if you serve food, you didn't have to close. Only the places that served alcohol only. Um, And so the only other option outside of the bar is to sit out in front of a restaurant slash bar. Or, I mean, I could do the shopping malls, I could do hospitals. I mean, there's plenty of options out there. The only thing is, it wouldn't be really worthy of recording for the sake of, you know, for the sake of making videos. A lot of the entertainment, like I was saying, a lot of the entertainment for my videos comes from the fact that the people I deal with are drunk. So obviously, if I park outside of a police station or a hospital, if I'm dealing with drunk people there, there's going to be some problems. um, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm just kind of taking it a day at a time, and I'm kind of looking into other opportunities as far as where to post up. So I'll keep you guys posted on that as opportunities come up, and we'll see how it goes. Chock full of quarters. Putting that on the back burner. Something came up. Doing a video about it this week. All right. Well, I'll be looking out for that video. Um, I hope everything's okay and everything turns out all right for you guys. In Ohio now, but since Florida is home, I'm ready to go back. Ooh, Ohio, you get snow, man. Why would you move to a cold state from Florida? 9 viewers. Who else we got on here? If you haven't typed something, let me hear you. Partner with a bar so that you're serving food in their name so they can stay open. See, we thought about that. We thought about that with the bar that I'm at, but when we contacted the state or when we contacted the city, the the city's wording going to be a good thing. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. Chock full of quarters. The city's wording on their law or rule or whatever it is they do, the wording is the bar has to have a food permit. So the only way for me to be able to stay there and them to stay open would be for them to have a to apply for and receive a permit to sell food, which they can't do legally because they don't have a kitchen. It's just a bar. They don't have stoves and ventilation hoods and all that good stuff inside the bar, so they wouldn't get approved for a permit to serve food. Even though I have a permit, I wouldn't. My permit doesn't apply to that address because I'm a mobile vendor. They made sure they worded it right. I'll tell you that much. Moving bonuses. Well, can't be mad about that. Yeah, I thought that's what. I'll have to look into that, Smitty. As far as Home Depot, Lowe's, I have to look into that because I thought I know the street eats pretty much sucked, but I don't. I haven't heard anything. Last I heard, they got bought out by Canteen. I don't, so they're still operating under the Lowe's and Home Depot. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, though. I'm looking into other opportunities. We'll see. It could be, I there. So to 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 I guess to kind of give you an overview of what I'm looking at, the the area that I work at, where the beaver is at, where the wild beaver is at, the area where that bar is in downtown Indianapolis, which is, um, I don't know if you've ever heard any reviews of the Super Bowl when it was here. I think in 2012, Indianapolis got a. I don't know, Vaughn. I don't know what your comment was. It could have been hidden or stricken. If there was anything, um, if there was anything, I guess cursing or anything like that in there, it would have refused the comment. It's got a, I've got it automatically edits comments. So if there's any kind of hate speech or anything, YouTube, it'll take it out. It'll automatically block your comment. But the way Indianapolis is set up, it's a very walkable. It's only like it's got a lot of stuff to do, but it's all crammed into one specific area that you can walk. And so there's a bunch of bars slash restaurants within literally like 2 blocks of each other. They're all kind of crammed right there within walking distance of the mall downtown. So the there's a couple of parking lots that are right in the middle of those areas, where all those restaurants and bars are, that stay open because they sell food, but they stop serving food at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight. Um, so even though I don't have a permit to operate in that area, I could possibly, because I can't serve food because I don't have a permit to operate in that area because it is downtown. I can't serve food from a public sidewalk, but if I manage to get myself into the one of the street side parking spots in one of those private parking lots, I don't think the city can really say much about it because I'm on private property. I paid for the parking spot, and I'm not vending from a public street. So I'm considering trying to work out a deal with one of the parking lots attendants that I know pretty well downtown. Like I said, I've been going downtown for years, so he knows me. I know him. So I'm trying to work out a deal with him where he can block off the front two parking spaces that are street side, um, where I'd be able to pull my truck into one parking spot and then set up my hot dog cart in another parking spot and just sling dogs from the parking spot right there in the middle of the area where all the restaurant slash bars are still open. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I'm still doing some research. Obviously, I don't want to get out there and end up, you know, screwing somebody over. So I'm still doing some research into it to see if that's a possibility, at least until the bar that I work at, the Beavers, is opened back up. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Can't find the video, the website you used to do your $100 drawing. Yeah. So basically, all I did was, and there's a bunch of them out there. Here, I'll show you. This will give me an opportunity to, I guess, test out this third-party software. So what I did was, you go to Google, chock full of quarters. This is answering your question here. Go to Google and then you type in YouTube comment randomizer, and it will come up with a whole host of websites that you can use. You just click on the website. I hope you're following along. I had to cover up the chat so I can't see if you're typing, but it'll pull up a whole host. You just click on any of those websites, and then like in my case, I entered the URL to that video where everybody was commenting, "I am a hot dogger." I just entered the URL here, and hang on, I might be able to do it again just to show you. Boom, boom, boom. Bear with me. This is a impromptu info session. So yeah, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to whatever video you want to pick the comments from. In my case, it was that $100 video. So let's go down to the $100 video, $100 subscriber giveaway right here, right? So I don't want to watch the video because I've already seen it. I made it. But you'll copy this URL up top here. You'll copy that. Then you'll come back over here to the comment randomizer website, and you will post it. You will paste that URL in that box there, and then get YouTube comments. 100, 200, 210 comments. And start. It goes through all the comments, and it picks a user. Winner. Just for the record, this is testing only. But it picks a winner, and it shows their comment. So if you had, in my case, you had to put, "I am a hot dogger." In this case, it shows the comment as well as the username to make sure that they put "I am a hot dogger" in their comment. And then that would have been the winner. This is just for testing. Sorry, Metatag. Sorry, but you did not win anything. This is just a informational only session. But yeah, that's all it is. Just you can Google, go to Google, type in YouTube comment randomizer, and it tells you everything you need to know. So let me bring back up my YouTube here so I can see what you fine folks are commenting. Did it stop on me? No. So, yeah, got a little choppy there. It's getting a little choppy. Can you guys still hear me? Hey, no problem. Chock full of quarters. I think I overloaded my system, my computer system, in doing all that. So that's why I got a little choppy there. We're getting back to it. We're getting back to it. Stick with me, folks. So, but yeah. So as far as the spot, who was it? Somebody said they got here late. I'm late. What happened? Matthew Timmons. Yes, the bar. It's not closed, like not permanently yet. Um, Smitty, good night, buddy. Appreciate you coming. Um, the bar itself is not closed. It's just the city shut down. The city shut down the bars again because of COVID. So we're dealing with that now. No problem, chock full of quarters. I appreciate you coming in. Can you guys still hear me, or is it overloaded? Yeah, Fallout pictures. It's I when I was doing the whole when I was doing the whole screen sharing bit, it overloaded my system. Now it's trying to play catch up. So basically, I've come to the conclusion that I need a better computer. It's catching up, guys. I'm with you. It's catching up. Bear with me. It'll get back to it. It'll get back to good. I think I just overloaded the software. I overloaded the video software with all of the screens I had going on there. It's getting back to good. So on the hot dogging, yeah, I'm trying to work out a different avenue. Trying to work out a different avenue to get some videos out for you guys, but um, we'll see. I'll have to keep you guys posted on that. I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not. So, I mean, I don't see a reason why I wouldn't, but I don't see a reason we should be closed. So, that's just my opinion. This is my personal opinion, though. I know there's a lot of people. It's a controversial subject. A lot of people are. I don't know. So are you guys. So Fallout. You were hot dogging a while back. You said you used to do it in college. Why stop? I'm guessing because you got offered more money for engineering somebody's audio, huh? So I've duly noted no more screen sharing. Yeah, Matthew. Laundromat's still up and running. Laundromat's still doing good. Um, I'd like to do another laundromat video, but I don't really know what to. I don't really know what to do. What the topic of another video would be. I mean, I pretty much covered all of the technology that I use. So, I mean, I don't really know what other videos to make when it comes to the laundromat business. So, if you have any ideas, feel free to share with me. Buffering is going to stop here in just a minute. It's already cleared up on the software, on the encoder software. So this video issue should be fixed here in any minute. Trying to see. Hopefully, this software fixes itself. It's doing pretty good so far. I think we're getting back to good. I think we're getting back to good, guys. So no more screen sharing. No more screen sharing. No more overloading the computer. No more lag. No more buffering. We're getting back to good. Yeah, Fallout. That's the way to do it, man. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. How it turned out, like as far as leasing a cart goes, there's less liability. You don't have to worry about um, you don't have to worry about permits and health code and health department stuff. Um, yeah, it's. I think leasing or renting a cart is the number one best way to get your start in hot dogging. It's just like you don't have the startup hassles, the startup costs. Like you're literally skipping all of the sucky part about it and all of the expense involved. That way, if you get into it and you decide you don't like it, you're not out anything. Um, so yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Ended up pursuing a corporate career and now hating it. Oh man, I was a national account manager before I got into hot dogging, and before I really became self employed. Um, I was a national account manager for one of the leading security companies in the country. Not like top flight security, like alarm security, alarm system security. Um, yeah, and it was a good job if you like having a job. For me, I've always been independent minded. I've always been let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? Stubborn, hard headed. I don't like dealing with red tape. I don't like the idea of somebody having control over my livelihood. I don't like the fact that the decisions that the CEO of my company made had an effect on me and I had no say in those decisions. Um, it was shaky ground. It's shaky ground, when you're working for somebody else. And I didn't like that instability. Most people, that's the difference of mentality between an entrepreneur and an employee, right? So most people look at, um, now we're getting into money talk, which is a good thing. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the streaming has cleared up. It shouldn't be any more lag or anything like that. If there is, let me know. But the difference between entrepreneur mentality and employee mentality, an employee looks at having a job as stable. It's stability. You get that weekly or biweekly paycheck or monthly paycheck. And an employee views that as stable. Whereas an entrepreneur, somebody who prefers working for themselves, is gonna look at it like that's the most unstable thing that you could do because you're literally putting your life, your livelihood, your family, your income, your future into somebody else's hands. And that's kind of the difference of mentality that I've noticed, between the people and all the people that I talk to, when it comes to money. I talk to about money. It's just that difference of mentality, the difference of how you look at how you view money, how you view jobs, how you view income in general, and how you view stability in general is the biggest difference between an entrepreneur and an employee. So, I mean, that's just kind of what I've noticed. More money, less happiness equals bad combination. Yes and no. I mean, I had a buddy who owned. Um, he used to own, what were they? Jimmy John's. He owned like four Jimmy John's restaurants in the Cincinnati area, Cincinnati, Ohio area. His favorite saying used to be, and I think he's changed. He's changed a lot, but his favorite saying used to be, um, "Yeah, I can cry alone, but I would rather be crying in a BMW than a junked out beater." Like that was his saying, about the whole money doesn't make you happy and all that. Like, I don't know. I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. I think money can be happiness. Money is a tool, right? So money is people say money is evil. Money is the root of all evil. Um, you know, to me, money is a tool. It's just like a hammer. You can use a hammer to build a house to protect your family, or you can use a hammer to kill somebody. It kind of goes both ways. It's all in how you use it. You can have more money, and you can use more money to create that stability, to create a future, to create income. to create the life that you want to be happy, or you can use money to blow, and you can use it for evil, use it to hurt. You can hurt yourself, you can hurt other people. I mean, money is it's a touchy subject, man. It's all about how you use it, though. For me, I'm a fan of money. I like money. I completely disagree with the whole money is the root of all evil thing, um, for obvious reasons. I mean, like I said, it's just a tool. It's just something you can use to however you want to use it. So that's just my saying. That's just my view on it. Um, they say the average millionaire has seven sources of income. I've currently got one, two, three, four sources. So I'm three sources of income away from being a millionaire, hopefully, ideally. So once I get to that spot, I'll be a happy camper. I will be a happy camper. Oh, somebody asked me earlier what all I do. I've got a laundromat. I do hot dogging. I have a lawn care company, which is what I do during the day, and I also have some real estate investments. Some I call them investment properties, but it's real estate that pays me every month. We'll put it that way. Total of 11, nope, more than that, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So a total of 14 acres of property. And it's just, yeah, it's investment properties that make me a monthly payment. It's that what they call mailbox money. Money you don't have to work for, but it shows up every month. So that's what I do, and pretty much do anything else. Um, I'm not biased when it comes to finding businesses to run or start or take over or own. I'm not picky. I mean, anything that makes money really is what I'm into. I thought about starting a car dealership at the beginning of the year, and then this whole, COVID thing hit. Kind of changed my mind on that pretty quick, considering people were going to be unemployed, not be buying cars. So I changed my mind on that, and um, I don't know. I just kind of look for opportunities, and that's another thing. You get people don't know how to recognize good opportunities when they come up, and I think that's another thing. So I've got a problem with the school system. I'm not a fan of the school system, the modern school system as it is, because you look at what schools teach, and to me, and if you've ever read a Kiyosaki book, a Robert Kiyosaki book, any of his books would tell you, um, "Hey Jim, the 5 acres is actually turned out to be an investment property for me. So, um, I no longer live on that property. I don't have that. I don't do anything with that property anymore. It's just a property that makes me money. Somebody pays me for it every month. So um, I kind of worked out for the better because to me, the neighbors were too close on that property. I didn't like being able to see both of my neighbors on each side. So I'm looking to see about getting more property, more like 20, 30 acres somewhere. That's maybe more wooded, more private, more secluded. Because I do I do own some things that go bang, and so I like the idea of being able to build a range and go outside on a nice day and just do my thing. Um, I was given one advice I was given when I first started slinging dogs. There's no excuse not to make $100,000 in a year if you hustle a bit. Yeah, you're right. You're right, dude. There's no excuse. No excuse not to make 100,000. Difference between working a corporate job and working for yourself. Yeah, Matthew, you're right. You are right, man. And more often than not, people do, man. They start working a corporate job, and you talk to anybody who works in a corporate setting, and like they'll tell you they're happy with their job, but if you dig deeper and they're honest with themselves, they're not. They're not. Like I've had this conversation with my sister, and she tells me all the time, like everybody can't be business owners. Well, it's if you go back to the days where medieval times, everybody had to be a business owner. You had to barter with what you do. You barter food. You grow corn and you take it to a city market and barter for your tools, so you can grow next year's corn faster or bigger or better. If you're a blacksmith, you would barter work, or you would barter tools, or you would barter a sword, or whatever it is they blacksmith back then. That's just kind of everybody at some point was a business owner. Um, so that's kind of how I see it. Nowadays people just got lazy. That's what it boils down to. People just got lazy. They don't want to own a business. They don't want the responsibility. They don't want the um, work involved with starting a business and running a business. But anyway, back to the school system and the Kiyosaki. I've studied Robert Kiyosaki. I've read all of his books, even the one that he did with Trump, the collaboration that he wrote with Trump. Um, I'm a huge Kiyosaki fan, and he preaches that financial education isn't taught in schools, and to a certain extent, yeah, it is, but not really. Financial education in terms of, so our school system was set up, and this is just me, my opinion. You guys might have a different opinion, but our school system was designed and set up to create employees, create people who could work the factories. Um, yeah, Matthew, 100K a year slinging dogs. I don't know if you were on my earlier um, live that went screwy and I had to delete, but there's a spot right outside Central Park in New York just for the permit for that spot, just to be able to park your hot dog cart there. You have to. It's like $120,000 a year just for the permit to park there. Imagine how much money they're making in a year if that's what the permit cost alone. So yeah, I could definitely see 100K a year should be, if you're doing it full time hours, 12 months out of the year, easily hit 100K a year. Um, but yeah, the school system just to me teaches it trains employees. It trains people on how to um, do as they're told. It trains people on how to regurgitate information, not to think for themselves, but to regurgitate information that they were fed. Um, and if you really think about it on a large scale, it makes sense. Our school system, our education system left out the financial aspect as far as personal finances. I wasn't even the only thing I learned in high school was the only thing as far as finances that I learned in high school was um, they took we did one class It was kind of like a home ec class, but it was not really a home ec class, like home living or something like a personal living or something like some class like that. And they showed us how to write a check. And that was pretty much it. And I even I did marketing, I did the business classes, like I did all the business electives, and not one of those electives ever went over finances as far as income, expenses, taxes, write offs. Like nobody ever went into that. Of course, you can take classes in college that teach you all that, but not everybody can afford to go to college. Not everybody does go to college. Yet, I feel like financial education is the most important education you can teach anybody, especially a kid at a younger age. I was on, I was talking to my nephew. My nephew he's in high school, and I was talking to him, and since he was 6 years old, I've been teaching him financial education, right? So we have this thing where I tell him the difference between an asset and a liability. I told him this when he was 6 years old. The difference between an asset and a liability. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. And every time I see him, every time I talk to him, I'll ask him, "Do you remember the difference between an asset and a liability?" And to this day, at 16 years old, he can tell me what the difference between an asset and liability is. And that's something that's going to stick with him, especially now. Yeah, Fallout. That might be 250K. That might be the spot that I'm thinking of. I know it was some six figures ridiculous. 250K. Yeah, that sounds about right. That might be the spot that I was talking about. I read an article about it. It's been a while though, so I don't really remember the number. I know it was some ridiculous six figure price for the permit. But yeah, even to this day, man, my nephew trying to teach him at an early age so that way by the time he gets to, especially now at 16 years old, he's going to start working part-time jobs when he gets out of school, on working weekend jobs or whatever he does. He's going to be able to take what I've been teaching him and apply it to his apply it to his actual real life circumstances now that he's going to have his own income. And to me, that's something that should be taught in schools as early as possible, because in reality we all have to deal with money whether we go to college or not. So we should all be taught the difference between an asset and a liability in school. Yet you don't get that education unless you go to certain specific college courses, um, and then you might get taught the correct way. Um, I don't know. The education system could use some reforming. I know that for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean it's different mentalities, different mentality. There's a different mentality for UK. We were shown nothing. Nobody ever went over any kind of financial education with you, Tom, in the UK. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. The school system was designed to create employees, people who were good at following orders and doing as they're told. And so that's kind of right now we're kind of paying the price for that because we have so much opportunity, but we've created so much laziness, so much, and I hate to say laziness because it's not willing laziness. Like people aren't conscious of of what they're dealing with. Like they're not conscious of their state of mind, that how they think is lazy. They're not aware of making that connect of how to make that connection. Um, because to them they go to a job. They have a job. They're not lazy. They have a job, right? So um, people just don't think of it like that. And I think if we had more independent. Like if our education system was more revolved more around independence and teaching our kids how to think for themselves, how to create, how to put how to make how to go from A to B and make it make sense. Like the the typical the typical thought processes of an entrepreneur. If our school system were to focus more around those types of thought processes, the thinking outside the box type of thought process, I think we would be better off. We would have a lot more entrepreneurs, a lot more businesses, a lot more technological growth. I think we would. I think we not just as a country, but globally would see huge growth. Period in all facets. Um, what's the point of an algebra if you're not taught compound interest? Exactly. Yeah. Junior achievement clubs, great business clubs. Junior achievement clubs. I've never heard of a junior achievement club, but um, I'm guessing it's an extracurricular that you have to choose or enroll um, your child in, or they have to be accepted in, or they have to be otherwise like it's not something that they're voluntarily taught. They have to be willing to be taught, and that's the difference. Like I said, I know what I know when it comes to business and when it comes to um, I'm like the oddball in my family, right? Nobody in my family owns businesses. My parents are still together. I do not invest in gold and silver, although I probably should. No, I'm more of the S&P 500. Put it all in a good fund and let it do its thing. My problem with gold and silver. I mean, long term, yeah, it's good, but it depends on the market, the economy. Who's president. To be honest with you, who the president is has like there's too many variables to invest in gold and silver alone. There's too many variables that cause it to fluctuate. That's my only problem with it. Um, Now to hold gold, like to buy gold and actually hold it, keep it in my own safe, it's a different story. I'm just taught how to serve the system of keeping the poor poor. You're right, Tom. You are right. That's what the school systems do. It's not even necessarily that they're taught how to keep the poor people poor. It's that they're not taught how they don't teach the poor people how to come out of being poor. So it's not necessarily what's being taught; it's what's not being taught that's the problem. Um, and to be honest with you, I mean, I can go into this deep, dark rabbit hole of why I think that the system teaches people what they teach them, but that's a whole nother video, and we'll be here for hours. Which at 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't here 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't plan on being on here for hours. So, but yeah, it's just I feel like we need to. There should be a lot more focus on individuality. There should be a lot more focus on finances because everybody, no matter what you do in life, money is going to be the biggest part of it. And I don't think our education system puts enough focus on that. But like I said, to me, it's just it's a I didn't come from a background, a business background. I didn't come from like my parents don't own businesses. They don't own companies. My dad worked at the same factory from the day he was 18 all the way up until his retirement 2 years ago. Um, like he worked literally the same two jobs his entire life. He was full time at a factory, and he rode. He was a police escort. Um, he was a police escort where he would escort funerals, parades, stuff like that. He did that part time on weekends, and he did those same two jobs. God love him. He's a great man. Um, I don't I don't down him for that at all. He did what he had to do to take care of his family, but it's a different mentality. He grew up in an age where factories were booming when he was when he came out of school, and that was just kind of the job to have. It was good to have that job. You had Social Security. You would get Social Security. You had retirement plans. You had all this good stuff that came from working in factories back then. And that's what the education system was designed to accommodate. But now times have changed. Factories are leaving. Factories are going overseas. Factories are essentially if they're not going overseas, the workers are being replaced by robots. Um, so it's kind of like, what now? We have a school system, we have an education system that teaches people how to do jobs that essentially are being weeded out by advancement, by growth. Um, and our education system, they don't seem to want to change or adjust to accommodate that. But like I said, I'm kind of the black sheep in my family. My mom always worked. She's always done her thing. So nobody in my family is an entrepreneur of any kind. I am the only one with the mindset that I've got, and the only reason I have the mindset that I've got is because I took it upon myself um, when I was homeless, living out of the back of my 1997 Lincoln Town car that was 20 years old at that time. Um, I worked at Amazon, at an Amazon factory, and I was miserable working there for $12 an hour. Um, so I started reading up, find out what rich people did to make their money. I started reading about finances. I started reading about money, where to put my money, how to make my money work for me, so I could stop having to work for money. Um, I started um, working out, which honestly was a big deal for me. I feel personally, and the only reason I started working out was because I had to get like I said, I was homeless at the time. I was homeless. I mean, it wasn't long. I wasn't homeless for long. I think maybe a month or two. I just fell into a hard time. Um, so I had to get a gym membership. I got a gym membership, $10 a month at the Planet Fitness, the local Planet Fitness. I got a gym membership to just so I could have a place to shower, and I figure I'd make use of the gym membership. And to be honest with you, I think working out really helped me clear my mind. I would go in, and when I got off work, I'd go in and just run. I'd get on a treadmill and just run until I couldn't run anymore, and that helped me to clear my mind, and it helped me to be able to process the information that I was taking in. Um, as I was researching and studying finances and business and all of this stuff on my own. Um, I never paid for any programs. There's gurus out there that want to sell you all these, become a real estate millionaire in 2 days kind of programs. I never paid for any of the information that I got. It's all online, literally online. Even the books, Audible. If you ever heard of the Audible app, um, I downloaded the Audible app and just started listening to the free books, and they give you a credit every month for a free book, and every month I would get a different Robert Kiyosaki book, and I've read them all, or I listened to them all. And to this day I still listen to um, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've listened to that book. I listen to that book at least once a month, um, just because it changes. It flips a switch in your mind on how you think about money and rich and poor, and it flips a switch that causes you to see rich and poor from a completely different mindset. It's mind blowing. So if you've never read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to buy the book or download it or stream it or get on Audible, get on the Audible app and listen to it from there. Like I'm telling you, it's mind blowing. I think sometimes even on YouTube, you can find it on YouTube. You can find the audiobook version on YouTube for free. Um, but sorry, I went off on a big rant there. Let me go back through some of these comments, see what we're talking about. UK, we were shown nothing. Point of algebra, if you're not taught compound interest, completely agree. Compound interest is a big one. Gold and silver, just taught how to serve the system of keeping the poor poor. 60 years old and just found out about compound. Yeah, 60 years old, man. Imagine if you'd have started when you were 18. It's about keeping us complacent and in line, but that's a rabbit hole we don't need to go down. Completely agree, Matthew. It was an outside of school where local companies mentor high school kids. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's about the only way. Like that's really the only way you can get a decent financial education anymore is if you go look. You have to go looking for it, and I think that's the biggest problem with our society is that's something that should be taught. Like we should be teaching our kids how to become financially secure, not teaching them how to depend on somebody else, which is essentially what teaching them to get a job is. Business cost, gross, and net profit. Completely agree. Completely agree, Tom. My employer is Amazon, but I do pretty decent and have that one job that everyone in the FC wants. Yeah, yeah. You are. Yeah. I mean, Amazon's a good company. Um, yeah, I don't have any problems. I hated the job because when you're low man on the totem pole, you have no say in anything. Even if your ideas could make things better, it doesn't matter. Nobody's interested in listening to you. That was my problem with Amazon. Um, and it became more and more like the longer I stayed there, the more I realized like even in that job, we were getting replaced by robots. They brought in box cutting and folding machines that essentially eliminated three people's jobs. Like you could have one person folding and cutting custom shaped boxes like just because of this just with this machine like it was crazy. Like I kind of saw that was kind of an eye opener for me in the education system, and it kind of that's what sent me down the rabbit hole of the education system and how they train employees, but employees are being phased out by technology and growth and advancements. So, yeah, I mean, Amazon's a good company to work for, but you have to have, or if you're going to enjoy it anyway, you have to have either a lot of seniority or a very, very costly education. And that's how most places are nowadays. Um, but yeah, that's I could go on for days talking about money, the movement of money, the flow of money, um, the lack of um, the lack of education when it comes to money. Give us your top three book recommendations. Top number one. Top number one is going to be Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Top number two is going to be The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And The Cash Flow Quadrant actually was a pretty decent eye opener for me as well, because it goes a little deeper into the different types of income and why the rich stay rich and why the poor stay poor and how taxes affect each type of income. So, cash flow quadrant was a big one for me from a financial perspective, anyway. Um, cash flow quadrant was a big one, definitely for me. So, number one, all time favorite, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Number two, Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant. Number three, number three. I'm trying not to be a Robert Kiyosaki um, fanboy, because to be honest, I am a Robert Kiyosaki fanboy, but I'm trying to avoid being that. So I don't want all three of my top three to be Robert Kiyosaki. If that wasn't a play, then if that didn't have anything to do with it, then I would say number three would be Why We Want You to Be Rich. It was his collaboration with Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump. Whether you're a Trump fan or not, and I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not about that. I'm not. I don't want that on my channel. So I'm not going to get into politics, but I will say this: whether you're a Trump fan or not, that book, Why We Want You to Be Rich, is another one that it flips a switch and gives you a completely different perspective on how to view rich people versus poor people. Um, like it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Um, but just to avoid being labeled as a Robert Kiyosaki fanboy, I would say number three book would be How to Win Friends and Influence People. Um, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's I like that book. I'm a fan of that book. I think that's one of those books where um, not necessarily business oriented, but it relates, like, a lot of the information in that book can be applied to business and can make you a better business person, regardless of what business you're in. Not only just in business, but even if you're an employee working for a big company like Amazon, it teaches you how to interact with people, and I don't know. It's a good book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I can't remember off the top of my head who wrote that, but it's a good one. That's my top three. Top three books. Um, but yeah, that's interesting topic to get on. I'm glad we got on it. But I'm a huge fan of people starting and owning businesses. I try to talk people, like, I legit try to talk people into starting businesses, just because there's so much freedom. Like, you say, they say that when you get a job, you're sacrificing your freedom for security. Which, like I said, to me, a job isn't security. A job is the least secure thing you could do, because you're literally putting your entire livelihood in somebody else's hands. Um, God forbid Fallout Pictures. God forbid Jeff Bezos gets caught up in some kind of Jeffrey Epstein deal, and Amazon stock starts dropping, and people start boycotting Amazon and stop using it, and I mean, you never know. You never know. Just throwing out scenarios here. It could happen. You never know. You know, Jeff Bezos could run the company into the ground eventually. Then you're out. You're out of a job. Granted, you can go find another job, but then you're just jumping from one lake of fire into another, right? So that's something. I mean, it's kind of up to you and what you like, what you prefer. But for me, that's that's not the life for me. I prefer freedom. I prefer the idea of being able to do what I want, when I want, how I want, why I want, without having to ask permission. Um, Without having to ask permission for a day off or whatever. Fucking do it. You will win some and you will lose some. Life is too short not to take the risk, but remember to pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. That sounds like a Robert Kiyosaki thing, buddy. That's one of his big things. Definitely, definitely. I can agree with that. I worked for Safeway, put $3,900 into their final salary pension scheme. They have just paid $390,000 to leave the scheme. Yeah, Tom, man, craziness, crazy stuff. Yeah, you'll win some and you'll lose some. You're right. You are absolutely right. For every business that I've started and either still have or sold successfully, there's at least three businesses that I started and failed at. That's kind of my whole thing with everybody. Again, I'm not going to get into politics, but if you look at Trump when he was running for president, when he announced he was going to run for president, one of the big things that um, one of the big arguments for why he would not make a good president was the fact that he had filed bankruptcy on several of his businesses. But that mentality right there tells you that these people who are using that um, these people who are using that are telling they're employees, they're not entrepreneurs, because the reality of it is everybody everybody in business has failed at a business at least once. That's what makes you, like, you have to fail at a business in order to be a successful business person. Like, that's the criteria, that's a prerequisite. um, and that's what employees don't understand. That employees don't grasp that. They can't understand the idea of somebody starting a business and failing at it, because they don't do it. They don't start businesses, so they don't know what it takes to be a good business person. um, and so the way that they look at it is, well, he had these businesses and they had to file bankruptcy and they failed, so he obviously isn't going to be good to run the country, right? So it's a different difference of mentality. It's a difference of understanding. Like I said, I'm not going to get into politics or whether or not I support Trump or not. I think you know that's it's a very very divisive topic, and I'd prefer to keep it off of my channel. But there's a lot to be learned from what's going on around us. We'll put it that way. Richard Branson, a very, 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 very rich man. Richard Branson. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another example. You know, Richard Branson, what was it, Virgin Airways, Virgin Airlines, that he ended up having to file bankruptcy on. It ended up tanking. So yeah, that's just another example. You know, the business minded people are going to fail. That's how they learn. Um, that's how they learn what to do and what not to do. Building a digital nomad resort in Thailand. Well, that sounds like fun. I hear Thailand is beautiful this time of year, though I've never been. I'd like to go. I always thought it'd be cool to go to Thailand. They do they've got those elephant tours where you can talk or you can work with elephants and play around with them and ride them. I always thought it would be cool to do something with elephants like that. A few times. First time was when I was in high school. You wanted to leave an impression on us kids. Yeah, that's super cool, man. That is super cool. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to actually talk to somebody that successful and let alone get advice from them. So you know you definitely got lucky. That's for sure. And it is good advice. It is very, very good advice. Pay yourself first. Yeah, that's something that's what Robert Kiyosaki preaches, and he probably heard it from Richard Branson too. He actually references Richard Branson a couple times in his books, um, but uh, that's something that Kiyosaki preaches to pay yourself first because it only makes you want to work harder to pay everybody else. So you must go bankrupt once to move on. I agree, Tom. Absolutely. So, has anybody got any questions, comments, concerns? We can talk about money. We can talk about hot dogs. We can talk about laundry, life. Don't ask me about relationships because I'm single, so I can't really tell you how to go about that. But a massive tax avoider. Uh, Maybe so. There's about a 3 minute delay from me talking to you hearing me. So, working with some silence here for a minute until you guys get up some questions. I'll admit it. I support Trump. Be careful, Matthew. You might get me demonetized. So on taxes, I'm glad you mentioned that, Tom. Kind of on as far as Tom Bernard Branson is just a massive tax avoider. On taxes, when it comes down to taxes, here's my thing. Of course, living in the U.S. is different from living in the UK. It's different from Germany, different from Australia. Um, Different mentalities, but as far as taxes go, I'm of the mind frame that you know the whole reason the U.S. even exists is because of taxation, or the desire to get away from taxation, along with religious persecution and many other things that were going on back then. Um, but to say that avoiding taxes is a bad thing or exercising, I guess. Obviously, tax fraud and not paying your taxes, the taxes that are due, um, is illegal. But to, I think a lot of people confuse utilizing the tax code to their benefit with avoiding taxes, which in reality, the tax code is written to encourage and promote entrepreneurship. So to me, I feel like provides the tax code here anyway, and this is just strictly the U.S. Because I don't know how tax. I know in the UK I used to own a limousine company, and one of my favorite regular customers was a guy who lived in the UK. He's from the UK. Um, he had family in the UK, so he traveled back and forth quite a bit, but he worked here. Um, so, um, in talking with him, I know that the taxes are outrageous over there. He was talking about, you know, 50% tax on gas. Like if you go to buy a car, you're literally going to pay double the value of double what the car is worth just because of taxes. So if they're selling the car for 10,000, you're going to end up paying 20,000 after taxes. Um, I mean, it's just the idea the idea of taxation. Like I get what it was originally intended for. The problem here is it's not being used for what it was intended for. It's being used as a petty cash fund, and that's problematic for me. And so because they end up blowing it all on things that they shouldn't be blowing it on, they come back and want to increase taxes just so they can have more money to blow on things they shouldn't be blowing it on, so they can come back and increase taxes again. It's a never-ending cycle, as far as I'm concerned. The government makes more than enough money off of the current taxes, and they would off of less taxation. They would have more than enough money to accomplish what needs to be accomplished, but they just blow money, and it's sad to see that happen. Um, so, all right, questions. Good video idea. Next time you sling dogs, do a setup video. Do a setup video. That is a good idea. I might do that. I think I might do that. I might. Matter of fact, I might just do. I might try to work out a video inside the commissary where the carts are stored. Um, of course, they do it. They operate out of the garage. They completely converted their garage into a commissary, like with. It's crazy. Like they've got all of the. They basically turned it into a commercial kitchen area. Um, like it's approved by the state and everything. It's crazy. But with it being their personal home, I'm gonna ask them before I have to get permission. I want to get permission from them before I do any filming a video or anything. But I might do that. I might try to see if I can't do a video at the commissary about go over the setup process and what I have to get, what I how I set the card up and all that. That is a good idea. I do like that. Might even do a teardown one too. Um, Good one, Fallout. Matthew, what's next after dogging? What is next after dogging? I don't know. To be quite honest with you, I want to buy a cart of my own. I want to buy a big dog cart from Mr. Ben Wilson from the hot dog cart store. Um, so I would like to buy a big dog cart and actually go out do this on my own eventually. I could do it right now, but with the bars being closed, it's not a good idea. So I'm gonna wait. But eventually, I want to buy my own cart, maybe buy more than one cart, and have other people running the other carts, and possibly make a decent sized business out of it. Um, I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I think the only downside that I can see to that is having employees, because right now I don't have any employees with all the businesses that I've got. I don't have employees. I don't like the idea of having employees because employees are a pain to manage, and anybody who's ever managed employees will agree with that. Um, but I mean, the money's good and it's part time, so it should be fairly easy to find people to work for me, even in a pinch. So um, I wouldn't see a problem with growing the hot dog and business. Um, and obviously, if I do, it'll make for good content here for YouTube. So yeah, I haven't really thought about what's next after dogging. I'm the type of person, like, I look for opportunity. Really, I'm an opportunist, I guess is what they call me. So I just look for opportunities. I've never been in the laundromat business, but I saw the opportunity and I jumped on it. Um, I've never sold hot dogs before. I've never been in the food industry, never worked in the food industry at all prior to hot dogging. So I found ran across the opportunity. Um, I identified the opportunity, I recognized the opportunity, and I've made it happen. That's just kind of how I operate. I look for opportunities. So I can't tell you what might be coming up or what I'm going to do. I can't tell you. I don't know. I can tell you this: there is a possibility that I'll be running a um, pew pew range, and if you're in the business, you know what pew pew means. PEWPEW. Um, there is a possibility that I'll be running a range um, by the end of the year. No guarantees, no guarantees, and I'm not gonna. I personally wouldn't be the one taking over the range. I would just be. It would be my operations company um, that would be taking it over. That would take over the operations of the business. I would be contracted by the owner, who is a good friend of mine. Um, so, yeah, that's kind of what I've got in the works. I mean, like I said, I look for opportunity. I don't look for any certain specific type of job or specific type of business. Or I mean, I was looking at buying a hair salon a while back, and I don't obviously I don't do that very often, so that's not something that I know a lot about. But if there's ways to run a hair salon that apply to, or they basically um, mimic the real estate industry. Essentially um, booth rent, just like renting a house. You're renting booths to hairstylists. They pay you every month, and that's about it. So um, just kind of just looking for whatever, man. Looking for whatever. I'm always looking for an opportunity. In fact, um, this might be a tip for some of you if you're looking for opportunities. The laundromat that I found, the laundromat is actually, that was a Facebook Marketplace find. So if you get on Facebook Marketplace and you type in keywords like business for sale, or it's usually very specific businesses. If you're looking for a laundromat, you look for you just type in laundromat and see what comes up, or you would type in hair salon and see what comes up. Hair salon business for sale, or car wash for sale. You can look up different things like that, and on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace, like opportunities pop up on those things all the time. You just don't see them. You just have to catch them at the right time. It's like usually if it's popping up on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, it's a really good deal. So it either is a really good deal or has potential to be a really good deal, depending on how you work the deal. And that comes down to your negotiation skills. That's going to be completely up to you on how you do that. But yeah, there's opportunities out there. I've got my eyes wide open looking for them. So, yep. Let's see. Been live for 1 hour and 50 minutes already. Jeez. Well, I'll tell you this much. Let's do 10 more minutes. I'm going to be on here for 10 more minutes, folks. Shoot me a question. Shoot me your questions. Questions, comments, concerns. What's your favorite book? Tell me what your favorite book is, your favorite movie. If you ever bought a guru's course, like my parents bought the Carlton Sheets real estate course. If any of you are old enough to remember that, I do remember that from my childhood. My parents bought the Carlton Sheets real estate course off of one of those late night, you know, ads that they ran back when TV was a thing, like actual TV channels were a thing. Back before Netflix and all this other stuff. So, has anybody ever bought one of those courses, or what's your favorite business book, your favorite money book, or even TV show or movie? Anybody ever watch Wolf of Wall Street and think that's going to be me someday, minus the jail part? Not gonna lie, I mean, getting messed up on Quaaludes and rolling out of Ferrari, crashed Ferrari, and not thinking twice about it because I'm crapping $100 bills every morning. Kind of sounds like a good idea to me, but minus the whole Quaalude part, of course. I don't do drugs. Don't do drugs, okay? And I'm out of Diet Pepsi. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. Ended up owning a strip club several years ago, but it fell through. Yeah, yeah, I've run across several of those. You know, and here's my thing with strip clubs. I can go on another rabbit hole with those. I trying to think of how to word this without sounding creepy. I frequented several strip clubs in my area when I turned 21. That was kind of my crew, my scene. Me and my buddies, we had the VIP passes every week and everything. It's just kind of what we did. So, after many years of frequenting strip clubs, the one thing I can tell you for a fact is that that's one business I don't think I could ever run. I could own it and hire a manager to run it for me, but I could never manage or run a strip club just because there's so much drama. So much drama. 'Cause you're dealing with, and it sounds bad, right? Like it sounds bad, and I'm not sexist. I swear I'm not sexist. I'm an only son of three children. My dad always worked two jobs, so I was basically raised by my mother. I'm not sexist at all. I love women, but you got to think in the strip club business, the women that you're dealing with, the type of women that you're dealing with. You're not dealing with, more often than not, in most cases. This is not 100% true. Not 100%. You know, it doesn't apply to 100% of them out there. There are some. There are actually some out there that are trying to make money to work their way through college or whatever. But it's rare, incredibly rare. You're dealing with women who have daddy issues. You're dealing with women who have drug problems. You're dealing with women who have addictions. Women who have boyfriend problems. They want to come in and start fights in the club, and like there's so much drama involved with strip club, owning a strip club, running a strip club. I could never do it, man. I could. That's one business that I honestly think, like, I would rather own a Hooters restaurant, and that's almost as bad um, when it comes to drama. But it's not as bad in terms of dealing with addictions and the psychological issues that come along with daddy issues and all that you find in strip clubs. I couldn't do it. Just want to say that I'm excited going back into the hot dog business. I'm hoping to launch in January when my Amazon contract ends, but I'll probably go part time at first, then full time. I would definitely start, dip your toes in the water first. Don't go. I wouldn't jump all in, and that's how people start hurting. Unless you have like a good solid 12 months of you know money just saved up, not on credit, like not in credit cards, but 12 months worth of your income sitting, your current income sitting in the bank that you don't have to worry about. Like if something happens and hot dogging doesn't work out for you, like unless you have 12 months worth of your money, your income saved in the bank, I wouldn't dive all in right away. Just dip your toes in the water, start small, build up, and then you can definitely get into, as you grow, definitely look get into it more, um, doing it more and making more money and getting more locations and whatnot. But I wouldn't go all in and right up front. But like I said earlier, I mean, the average millionaire has seven streams of income. So, um, don't expect to become a millionaire off of hot dogging, but it's certainly possible. I could definitely say it's more possible hot dogging than me as an employee. At least that's how it was for me. I don't know what you make, but for me, it was definitely a step up. Going from working 40 hours a week as a national account manager for a security alarm company to hot dogging 2 nights a week, I've still made more money. Still make more money. So yeah, I mean it's worth it. It's worth getting into, but like I said, I wouldn't dive in 100% right away. Ease into it. You got to ease into it. So well, it's getting to be about that time, folks. Getting to be about that time. I've got 5 concurrent viewers, 4 likes. If you guys haven't liked this, whatever this is, live stream, go do me a favor, click the like button. That helps with the algorithm, helps me get more views, more people. Um, if you want to send me some money, you can look at the bottom of the chat screen. There's a dollar sign next to the happy face. Just click on that dollar sign and you can send me some money. I like money. I need money, especially since I'm not working right now. So help me out. Or if you want something in return for that money, you can go to hotdoggingshirts.com and buy a hot dog t shirt. Those are my designs. They're my t shirts. So you can go buy some hot dogging t shirts. Um, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments below, not on the comments here because I won't see these comments